Welcome everybody to today's Teachers Tips for WHS407. Just some general housekeeping. Firstly, this session will be recorded and at the end be uploaded to the YouTube. Make sure you check into the chat box where you can type in your student number and first name. The reason for this is that we'll record in our archive that you attended this session. If there are any questions, please hold them to the end, but please type them into the chat box. First assessment. The WHS Research Centre is where you go to on the OLS under Resources for WHS407 and click on to the WHS Research Centre. Once there, you click on the Workers' Compensation for New South Wales tab, where you'll find your forms, research information, and key guidelines for work health and safety return to work programs, May 2017. This is what you can use as your textbook for this unit. That plus the PowerPoint for 407. Recent changes in New South Wales. EML has won the contract to be the sole insurance agent in New South Wales as from the 1st of January 2018. At the top of the compensation tab, you will find all the information on EML and your forms. Here we have a screenshot that shows you where to find the information. You can clearly see the certificate of capacity and what EML calls the claim for an injury person's lodgement form. And there's general information from iCare and from EML about the changes. In the assessment, you are required to write a short report. It is important within this report that we use the workers' compensation legislation and not work health and safety or OH&S legislation. Many students report this as an incident that under notification and they've gone down the wrong track. Please use sections of the Work Health and Safety Act 1987 and Workplace Injury Management and Workers' Compensation Act 1998 and the Regulations 2016. On this slide, we can see where to find that legislation. I'd also like to point out in the top right-hand corner under Learning Resources, Guidelines for Workplace Return to Work, May 2017. That will give you an insight into how the system works under WHS. Worth the read. Continuing into your report, we need to list the stakeholders involved in the claims management process. They include the injured worker, David, the treating doctor, Dr. Ma, the employer represented by the Return to Work Coordinator, the insurer, EML, the rehab provider, the physiotherapist, David's supervisor, Leslie, and an often missed stakeholder, David's partner. That telephone call that has to be made to that partner can be quite distressing for both the partner and yourself. The next part of the report talks about the conflict and disputes that can arise. It's important that you research and find the regulator's guidelines. These can be found on the Work Health and Safety Research Centre under the Compensation tab in the top left-hand corner. If you have the ability to present it as a flowchart, it helps with the presentation. The next slide talks about providing a list of suitable duties. The idea is to have David wanting to return to work. By making these suitable duties interesting and engaging and thought-provoking is a necessary step on David's recuperation from the injury. Building on the idea of the selection of suitable duties, these duties could come from some of his normal duties. Other duties could come from his skills and knowledge. David is liked by his supervisor, so why not turn the injury into a positive? Train him in some of Leslie's duties. The outcome down the track could prove David is an option to fill in while the supervisor is on leave. Suitable duties enable both the worker and the company to come out winners. It's also important not to aggravate David's back injury. A key here is to put yourself in David's shoes. Would you risk injuring your back again? Assessment 2. Assessment 2 is all about the return to work plan. So I encourage you to put a lot of work into researching this tool. Take your time here. Do your research on how important the plan can be to getting David back to his pre-injury duties. Completing all sections of the plan. The areas not covered in the case study can be created. As mentioned earlier, take your time in the selection of David's suitable duties. Have all stakeholders in the picture. Experienced stakeholders who do this as part of their job can offer great ideas to motivate the injured worker. Be clear and detailed about each one. Once again, put yourself in David's position. The test, would you agree to them if you were the injured party? Underneath the suitable duties, there are key areas. Pay close attention to them. Specific duties to be avoided, hours or days worked, treatment arrangements, commencement date of return to work. This is important that your implementation has been put in place waiting for David to return. Length of the plan. It's important to understand that the return to work plan over the life of David's injury will change on many occasions. It's important that we have all the signatures of the key stakeholders on the form. Remember, this is the key part of the assessment. Take your time, do your research. Once again, you have to do a short report, but this time it's for the key stakeholders, including David. It is important to keep them up to date with David's progress. Early on, you would have identified when the injured worker would return to work. Be ready. Hours they're going to be working, days of the week they'll work. Try to link them into when he has to go to the physiotherapist so the day resembles a normal day. Summary of their duties and what to be avoided. Now, don't forget to include your reference list or bibliography and the key slide. Remember, when in doubt, ring and email and talk to a WHS teacher. Remember, WHS teachers are available to help. Ring, just take 15 minutes out of your day and all your questions will be answered. Ring on the phone number and the email on the address shown. Are there any questions? Seeing there's none in the chat box, I'd say thank you for listening and attending. Good luck, and remember to always ring the WHS teacher.